And with that project, I discovered my passion. It's not about me becoming an engineer. It's about me creating something different that adds value, but it helps to provide this kind of an immersive, hands-on experience that's tied to a bigger vision, which is really, if we want to build a knowledge-based economy, we need to focus on contributing and shaping the next generation who are capable of understanding what does that mean and how they can contribute technically in building that.
All right. Welcome everyone and welcome back to My Life Map podcast. And we are here at the beautiful Qutaifan Islands, which was generous enough to provide us with this beautiful location to shoot our podcast under the theme of Your Life, Your Shot. And of course, we send a big thanks to Urban Landscapes as well, who has provided us with this beautiful cabin to be here today. And today, I have an amazing friend who is a guest of mine. And it's a pleasure for me to be hosting him today. Our guest is not just an inspiration, but he is someone that is trying to create amazing change in an industry which is pretty much new to the market. His story is pretty interesting because he goes through a lot of changes in his life, not just on a professional level, but even on a personal level. And personally, I had the honor to be part of this journey of transformation. Our guest today is Nayef Al Ibrahim. Nayef, welcome to My Life Map podcast.
Habibi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. So before we basically start talking about you, Nayef, I basically allow my guests to introduce themselves in the best way that they like. So how would you like to introduce yourself to the people listening to you today?
So my name is Nayef Al Ibrahim. I'm 40 years old. I'm a husband, father, brother, son, entrepreneur. I'm an engineer by profession, as a professional background. So this is in a quick nutshell when it comes to a title and my hierarchy within the social structure in Qatar between being a husband, brother, father, a son as well. يعني الحمد لله.
All right, so that's an interesting thing. So how do you keep all of this in balance? Those are many titles.
And I think this is part of how you build your social fitness by time.
Okay, I love that, social fitness.
Yeah, it's a continuous journey of building that up.
Okay. And you're an athlete as well.
I'm trying to be
getting there.
Getting there. Yeah. I'm trying to this is a new terminology that was introduced to me, to age well.
To age well.
Age well.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the objective, is to age well. That's why I'm keen just to keep a minimum level of fitness within myself.
Within yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that. Age well. I love that. Okay. So, Nayef, tell us a little bit about you. So, today you are the CEO of an innovation tech company, which we'd love to know a little bit more about, like what are the goals of it. But before that, there's a story in the background. Were you expecting to get into that field? Let's start maybe from the school time. Did you see yourself getting there?
Interesting. As a retrospect and just reflecting back, no, I never expected myself doing what I'm doing today. I never saw myself doing what I'm doing today. And I think that's due to the nature of how people are growing in their life, generally speaking.
Okay.
So back 1999, 1998, my focus and vision when I was at high school was I want to become an engineer.
Okay.
And that's due to the social pressure within the family. And my father, Allah يعطيه he didn't continue his education.
Okay.
He wanted to become an engineer, but he didn't have the chance to do that. So he worked well in providing us with the right family house setup, so we become the potential engineers, potential lawyers, and all of that. So I had a personal experience with my father going through the process of building our own house.
Okay.
So looking at the design phase of it, at the construction phase of it, going with my father to the engineer office and to the contractor office and looking at the house being constructed on site and him sharing his personal vision and inspiration.
Okay, a passion.
Yeah, passion. That just framed my future,
Okay.
to say so, yeah.
Okay.
The plan was that, okay, I want to become an engineer because my father wanted to become an engineer. I saw that. I loved the overall progress of building something from scratch. So this is what I really loved about it. And I was able to transfer something from an idea to drawings all the way till something that being constructed. That's what really triggered me about this specific career to become a civil engineer.
Okay.
So this is how I chose my potential path. Then going through the university phase, specifically here at Qatar University, I entered the College of Engineering,
Right.
and I discovered and I wasn't very passionate about engineering. I attend the engineering classes. I will be sitting in the first row, second row, last row, whatever row that is. I never was able to interact with the topics that was explained, described to us during that specific phase.
Right.
I felt that there was something wrong about it. So I started questioning myself, okay, is it the right path? Is it not? But every time I ask myself that question, my personal system just attacks that. No,
Right.
this is wrong. You need to become an engineer.
Yeah.
Because I was raised to
It's my dad's.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was one layer of defense layer of really challenging my inner voice.
Okay.
But then when I just opened the newspaper, all the newspapers are talking about the potential mega projects,
Right.
the expansion in the North Field,
Yeah.
the expansion in the real estate. That was the new topic. And then 2022 with the mega stadiums. So all of these potential forecasted projects, it just show in the core of these big mega projects, the engineer will play a major role. So there's this public positioning about this specific path that it's a prominent path. So that was the second layer. And the third one, and okay, you get perceived very lucky by the community that you are potential an engineer. So all of these just really made me in a position where I just want to continue that path.
Okay.
الحين the interesting part and with that specific situation, I was engaged in the life student activities within Qatar University.
I read Life is Engineering
Life
initiative.
is engineering, yes. So I took a personal decision, and you know what? I want to explore myself.
Okay.
I wanna immerse myself in the student activities as much as possible. Each time I would love to try a new project, get to mingle with a new team, get to expose myself to new challenges. So I kept that as my personal objectives, and I've been exploring number of activities, number of initiatives within Qatar University, all the way till I reached a moment where Qatar University asked to work on promoting engineering studies for the high school students.
Okay.
So we want to attract more of male students
Students.
into Qatar University, specifically engineering school.
Civil engineering or engineering in general?
Engineering in general.
Okay.
Back then, there was this huge hype about students going to different universities, plus going to the military and
Governmental jobs.
governmental job without
Okay.
continuing
Without continuing education.
Okay. So that was an initiative by the university, Qatar University, specifically the College of Engineering. Okay, how can we promote and how can we attract more students to join? Giving they have this strategic agreements with big companies of supplying them with potential engineers.
Okay.
So I was exposed to that project, and they were like, you know what, Nayef, come and start promoting the college to high school students. So I went and I did the first campaign, first year. I took an alumni from Qatar University.
Okay.
They've been exposing them their experience. They've been sharing their insights about how they used to be students and then they became engineers. They shared their salaries. They shared their potential forecast growth in terms of career. So that was the first campaign, and we managed to deliver that. Then the second campaign came with the request, okay, how can we do that in a different way? How can we improve this kind of experience in a different way where we can really give the students a flavor of what does engineering mean?
Okay.
So parallel to that specific request, I got engaged with one of my best friends who had a summer internship at one of the oil and gas companies.
Okay.
And to us as a potential engineers, the summer internship is a very valuable opportunity within your studying journey.
Okay.
Because it gives you the closest experience to the potential practical life.
Okay.
So after his internship, I sat with him. I just wanted to hear from him his experience, how did it go, and all of that. And he told me it was during a shutdown period, which means the overall production line is under maintenance.
Okay.
So it's a very lucrative technical opportunity for people to change parts, to upgrade, to do things.
Okay.
So, but guess what, Naif? I noticed a certain scene. قلت له, what was that? He told me, there are some parts and components out of the production line we're not able to access. قلت له, why is that? قال, these parts are accessible by the company who produced those parts and those technology. قلت له, okay, what does that mean? قال لي, أخي, احنا the fact because احنا we don't own the technology, so we can't access that.
Oh, wow.
It's a very confidential, it's a very sensitive. So the company who produce that kind of technology or that kind of parts are the only legally allowed people to come and change.
Wow.
So that was a very interesting comment. قلت له, okay, what does it mean we don't own the technology? He basically explained it to me, we don't own the knowledge, we don't have the knowledge
Yeah.
to begin with to be able to create that technology.
Okay. Which year was this, Nayef?
That was 2007.
Okay.
2007, yeah, that was 2007.
Okay.
And it resonated very well with me. And to me, that question, it just, I think that was a fundamental question.
Just hit.
So what does it mean? What does it mean? And okay, if I look into the newspapers, okay, we are one of the largest oil and gas exporters. So what does it mean? We are able to export, but we don't own the technology of that production and that process. What does this mean? What does it mean? Okay, and then it led to other type of questions. Okay, what is the role of the companies operating such a scene?
Yeah.
Is it part of their mandate to do that? To look into
Owning
R&D
the
and
technology.
yeah. Okay, but then what is the role of the university to prepare the qualified people with the right knowledge, with the right skills, as a foundational skills to really tap into doing that. So it just made me zoom out and put a big question mark on the educational system and what is the purpose of that. You see what I mean?
Right.
And specifically with that era, that was the kickoff of the 2030 vision, diversifying economy and knowledge-based economy.
Yeah.
So it all just came together in one piece. So when I went back to the promoting campaign for the College of Engineering and providing something practical to the students, we thought, we asked ourselves one big question: what are the reasons that the students are not getting into the engineering school? Yeah, what is it? So we did an interviews with number of students, and we came up with two different answers. One of them, and they see potential opportunities with the defense and the Ministry of Interior, going into a career right away after high schools and well paid.
Right.
This is something out of our control. We just can't do anything about it. Yeah. The second reason was, okay, guess what, ya akhi, when people are talking to me about Pythagoras, Newton, XYZ, I can't see how their theory is relevant to my life.
Okay. Yeah.
As simple as that. So, okay, now it's about application. They want to see the application of these kind of theories and the importance of it. So we created Life as Engineering project, which is basically part of two different components, theory component and practical component. And the theory component, we refresh the potential students on the importance of math, physics, biology, chemistry. Mm-hmm. But then the practical part is where we ask the students to assemble a racing kit car.
Okay.
In 5 days' time, and through the process of assembly, they link the theory part of physics, math, and chemistry into
the racing car.
The racing car, and then they need to race the car. They need to drive the car in the racing. We booked a Lucille circuit site for the camp for 5 days. Students were off school with us for 5 days. 4 days assembling a car, different teams, and the 5th day is where they get to race.
Wow!
And the outcome of that, and they can see the application of such theories in the car as an engineering, but the most important, and this is linked to the production line of the oil and gas. It's but on a bigger scale.
Right.
But now they can see the importance of such a science and such a engineering
Knowledge, implementation.
Exactly. And how is it really driving our prosperity and maintaining our social and economical lifestyle? The outcome of that, the students who get through this process is either they are very confident and they want to continue engineering. Well, it's not the thing.
It's not my thing.
It's not my thing, and it's been there for the past 10 years.
Wow.
As a project.
Wow. So you started at the university and it kept going until today.
It kept going. And with that project, I discovered my passion. It's not about me becoming an engineer. It's about me creating something different that adds value, but it helps to provide this kind of an immersive, hands-on experience that's tied to a bigger vision, which is really, if we want to build a knowledge-based economy, we need to focus on contributing and shaping the next generation who are capable of understanding what does that mean and how they can contribute technically in building that.
Wow. I don't know if you noticed this, Nayef, but you took something from your father's conversation and your father passing on his love of engineering to you through taking you to a piece of land and seeing it transform to an actual house.
Yes.
And you took that into the university and you transformed it to bringing people to see subparts and assembling that into a racing car.
Yes.
So you sort of took something away.
Yes.
But help me understand. So today your core job is not engineering.
No.
Okay. And the reason why I'm just asking this is because I wanted to ask you, do you feel any regret? Do you feel, how can I say? Do you think that I wish my dad hadn't pushed me to go into engineering? Because part of my life map and what we do, as you know, is getting people to realize that they have the right to own their own life, their own future. And again, when our parents, and I'm going to use parents here as an example because I know that it comes out of love, right? Most of the time. I don't want to generalize, but most of the time it comes out of love. They believe that they're giving us the best that they have.
Okay.
And in their mind, it is coming out of love, but maybe it is not what I wanted. Maybe I wanted to be something else. But because my dad couldn't become an engineer, he decided that he's going to bring me into life to make me an engineer. So basically, he's living his dream through me. And that's what you went through university. You went to become an engineer. You did amazing things. But my question is, do you or have you ever had that thought of, I wish you wouldn't have done that, Dad?
والله الأمانة يعني honestly speaking Joe يعني as a retrospect today I don't have that feelings of regret, to be honest, for multiple reasons. And I think this was part حتى even of me matured through the process,
right,
and through time for multiple reasons. One reason, if I go back to Nayef back in 2004, 2006, 7, I had no clue what I want to do with my life.
Okay.
Honestly speaking.
Right.
I had no vision.
Okay.
Literally, I had no vision, to be honest. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And the fact I was pushed by the family, at least they forced me to be on a track.
Right.
You see what I mean? So this is where يعني, I think it's worthwhile to balance the view as well.
Yeah.
So as Nayef, I had no vision, no view for what I want to do, and I think that's due to I just needed more time to explore myself.
Yeah.
But the overall frame time allocated for me to go through high school and university just doesn't allow for that. But I had to go through it anyways.
Right.
So I didn't make up my mind yet back then what I want to do. So that was the option, and then I just need to commit and fulfill that. So there is this my personal self back then, and there's this يعني the blessing, the family brought everything together for me to go through a specific track, at least even if you if I will be in my dad's position, will be okay. Even if you have no clue what you want to do, at least you're an engineer today. Yeah, you see, this is to be optimistic about the view.
Yeah.
And I think the third point, Joe, here is in looking at the overall journey between me not knowing what I want to do and then the family push. And I think the process of studying to become an engineer, fundamentally it's about solving problems.
Okay.
And yes, I studied civil engineering about building construction, but it taught me the fundamental principles of building anything in terms of sequence and process.
Right.
You see,
Yeah.
that combines the problem solving
Mindset.
but at the same time, the building process, steps, skills, knowledge, and sequence, and realization of that.
Yeah.
So these were the fundamentals take away from me being an engineer,
Yeah.
where I see today it's been implemented across all what I do day to day, with everything, with my wife, with my
Right.
kids,
Right.
with my networks, relationship, everything.
Yeah. So
I hope that answered your question, and gave you perspective how I look at it.
yeah, it actually did. It actually gave you a very nice perspective because but the question I wanted to, maybe I'm gonna dig a bit deeper here, and I understand that when you matured you realized, okay, I didn't have anything in my mind back then, and now at least I have a path. But back in the day, was there any moment in time you felt, because you said there was a time where you felt you did not want to be an engineer,
Yes,
right?
yes.
At that point when you had to shift your career, or when you got that realization, did you say, I wish, or
Yeah. So Anna, when I realized, when I discovered this passion as a byproduct of me delivering life as engineering, I thought there is something I'm really good at, which I didn't know before that specific experience.
right?
And why that was hard to me to process it back then, because as a student who went through studying engineering, I wasn't an A student. I wasn't a smart student. I was a very, very average student, and I didn't feel happy with that. Yeah, and that didn't make me feel happy, honestly speaking.
That you were an average.
Subhanallah, I know I'm good at something.
Yeah.
And I can be exceptional at few things, you see what I mean? But I didn't see that reflected in my study. That was always like a pinpoint.
Was a pain point.
A pain point. I know I'm smart doing things, thinking in things differently, but when it comes to me studying what I used to study, I wasn't that smart. I was very average. Back then, processing those emotions wasn't an easy thing for me, to be honest. As a question, okay, would me studying business might work better? Would it not? That was a big question.
Right.
But I kept carrying on the path. I kept committing to the path and carrying on the path. And when I moved to the career and trying different parts of managing projects within the career, I felt, okay, now I can see I'm good at management. I'm good at looking at the strategic view of things. I'm good at the planning of things,
Right.
but not at the technical part of doing construction design. Is not my thing.
Not your passion.
It's not, and it's not even my value system doesn't go.
Okay.
My value system doesn't go with
Right.
the value required to be able to push a construction industry. There is no alignment.
Right.
But when it comes to planning, study, early stage, visibility, this is where I felt, okay, I'm flourishing very well, because it gives you the space to question things, to look into different scenarios. But when it comes to construction, you need to implement it as it is.
Right.
There is no room to. It's a different mindset. ف, even that post graduation experience, it also challenged. Okay, was it
The right choice.
Was the right choice? Yes, not. You know what? Let me take MBA. Let me complement that with taking MBA.
Right.
I took an MBA and then no, I want to do something different.
Okay, so that basically strengthened your belief that I want to do something different.
Yeah. Post the MBA to 2013, I was like, you know what? خلاص, I'm done with construction. I'm done with the
Talking to bricks and talking to.
I want to do something different.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Like, I can't but say this. Like, at some point in my life, I was also told to go on a path of becoming an engineer. So at some point, maybe would have been university colleagues. But it's really interesting because you spoke about your value system and how it doesn't align. Tell me a bit about that.
I'll tell you about my value system. But on قبل value system, I think it's very important because I get asked every time.
Tell me.
What will you advise us?
Okay.
Specifically at that early stage where I have no clue about what I want to do. And to me,
now that you know, tell us.
It's fine that you have no clue.
Okay.
Accept it. The advice, go and discover that.
Okay.
So go and experiment yourself. Go and explore things. The younger you are, the more options you have in terms of exploring things much often.
Right.
Go try everything. The good thing that you're going to take out of each experience, and you're going to get to know yourself more and more.
Yeah.
Either if you like it or not.
Yeah.
So that will help you to really mature and connect and understand yourself better and better. And
Absolutely.
more.
Like one of the things we always say is, like people say, like, what if I try and I don't like it? Where like at least now you know what you don't like.
Yes. Yeah.
Even if it didn't tell you what you would like, now there is one thing less to worry about because you know what you don't like on that list of things.
صحيح.
Right? So I love that. I love that advice. Like, be curious, huh? Like,
Yes.
knock.
Yes, knock.
Ask.
And honestly, this is what I'm doing with my kids today. Noura, Hamid, and Sultan.
Yeah.
يعني
Bless them.
me and my wife Muna, يعني we have no expectations for them. Noura, she's handy, she's crafty. Push her, invest in her. Hamid, he's much more on art, music, singing. Okay, go explore that. Go act, do anything.
Right.
Just explore it. Get it out of your system. Expose your system to it, and then you will better judge if that's it or not. And then my responsibility is to further invest in that.
Right.
But at least you know well what you want to do, or you are in a better position.
Yeah.
Going to the value system, I think this is very important that you as an individual understand your values and your value system. And I understood that later on, and I understood that when I started my career. يعني 3 years down my career, I got exposed to the value system. What does value mean? What are my values? How those values got created? How do they get transformed through the process and the journey and the growth experience? And then it took me all the way to reflecting on the previous experience before me understanding the impact and the role of the value on shaping my perspective.
Yeah.
And it led into expectation management struggle.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big word.
Exactly. يعني sometimes if you are not fully aware of your values and you're not conscious about yourself, you might always have a struggle with your expectations to people.
Absolutely.
The more you understand your values, the more you are in peace with expectations and in peace with people reactions to that. So it just gave me a total different perspective when I got introduced to the values and my values, and just really digging deep into, so knowing my values, each one of them, digging deep into them, and then reflecting on the previous incidents in my life where I struggle with my emotions, struggle with events, people, relationship, giving this expectations management due to me not knowing my values.
Yeah.
But post realizing and understanding that, it just put me in a better position and enabled me to take a better decisions in my life and managing people's expectations. And it balanced my emotions, just understanding the values. It's not my responsibility to tell people what my values are, as much as how should I manage my expectations with them.
Okay.
Because it's a personal decision if you wanna know your values and how do they impact your perspective and analysis to life, how do you want to go about it as well.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about your value system when it comes to dealing with work, dealing with life at home. Give me a little bit of insight.
Sure.
What does that value system looks like? Like, for example, like for me, when I had to go through that journey myself, and given that I also help people go through that journey today, it was a big challenge to understand and to accept that because of my value system, sometimes not being aligned with certain people, not being aligned with certain organizations, like you just said, certain careers. The hardest part is to accept. I'm gonna have to maybe drop this and let it go if they are in a clash, right? And I think, again, going back to our choices, I think back in the day, one of the biggest clash between me and how the engineering school was portrayed for me is, no, I would prefer to be around people and work around people. And I don't want to be talking to papers, and I don't want to be like, and me better, like I'm not the person that would sit and put a plan and don't give me paperwork, just throw me in a crowd and watch me sparkle. But yeah, I wanted to know a little bit about you, because as you said in the beginning, you're a partner, you're a father, you're a brother, you're a son, you're a CEO, you're an engineer. Like, how do you manage that value system? Like, what's a critical value that doesn't get shattered whatever happens?
I think, to me, transparency is a fundamental value. And the challenge I faced with myself before me knowing my values was I never had the chance to really sit and have a mature, open conversation, safe conversation.
Yeah.
So when it comes to conflicts, I used to shy away. I used to not confront conflicts, and this was even with my previous relationships and networks, was part of the social network
Context.
norms.
Yeah.
عيب. You don't talk about it's not
Why? Let it go.
move on move on. Finish your school, finish your education, get the job, get married, move on But we never had before knowing my values, I never had this kind of a space where I want to open up, I want to talk. Knowing the value system, knowing these values, having the right mentors, the right coaches that allowed for a safe space to come and just express your feelings.
Yeah.
Transparency, trust, knowledge are one of your fundamental values. Then you want to talk about them, and you want to tell people, okay, these are the things that I value the most. What do you value?
Yeah.
So you want to have this kind of conversation. What helped me more, honestly, and alhamdulillah, I'm gifted with a wife that she's very open to hear and listen and to understand that. And this is what we brought to our house with kids, with our
Beautiful.
kids.
Nice.
And then it got coupled with my business partner, Khalid.
Yeah.
Khalid is one of the people who I really owe him big time of bringing this kind of an open conversation to the next level.
Right.
Okay, let's talk about sensitive stuff. Let's be transparent. For having these multiple events where I was able to communicate and express my values and listen to people's values and what they value more and all of that, it just helped me to navigate
Right.
how I should approach people, how should I understand their values,
Yeah.
where is the gray area for people, we are in peace of having different values. But what are the fundamental
Agreements.
agreements
Yeah.
that we need to agree on,
Yeah.
just to set the right expectations?
Yeah.
I love transparency. I love clarity. I love honesty. I love trust. To you, this might mean different things in a different way.
Absolutely.
Transparency to me is to have a cup of coffee and conversation. To you is just showing it by work.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Having this kind of conversation, it really just helped to have a better understanding, set the right expectations, and this is how I went about really managing my values expectation, but at the same time not to get in clashes with people due to different values. I just want to understand that, okay, they have different values, they have a different way of expressing those values, and me knowing it is a plus.
Right. Okay. So here is what I'm going to ask you now, because you're talking about it now when you're at peace
صحيح.
with where you are today. But I maybe want you to take us back to when it wasn't this peaceful. You didn't have clarity of, okay, now I understand. I want you to take me through the journey of when Nayef didn't know and didn't understand that it is a value clash. Didn't realize that I have the right to my own values. My values don't mean they're the global values. Someone else have the right to have their own values. Setting, I used the same terminology with Mr. Ashraf Abu Isa in the previous episode, using this understanding to set that line of engagement between me and whoever I'm dealing with in my life. So I will leave the choice open for you, because you said that you've had those conversations at home, you've had those conversations at work, with your staff, maybe within yourself. I'll leave it to you to choose, but I need an example of how did it get so tough, your thoughts, your emotions involved, and what was the normal reaction to you, because you said you would usually just خلاص shy off, عيب, let's not have that. I don't want to rock the boat.
صحيح.
The boat is going, it is sinking,
Yes.
but it's sinking slowly.
صحيح.
Right? We might arrive to land before it sinks. So yeah, I just wanted an example of when this was the situation.
I walk away.
You used to walk away.
I walk away.
I'll give me an example when you actually did walk away, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Number of examples, not just one example.
Thank you.
يعني prior to me knowing these values, الأمانة, when I get in a clash with people and I feel very uncomfortable with things, I just walk away. Very quiet, very respectful. I just move on. I walk away. It happened with the friends that we knew each other for maybe 10 years. Colleagues in work previously, previous bosses, colleagues, relatives as well. Prior to me knowing my value and values and all of that, it was tough for me to understand, okay, what's happening here. For my reaction and action to when that gets to its peaks, خلاص, I walk away. I walk away in a peace.
No clash, no fight.
No. It's not the nature of Nayef.
Okay. You just disappear.
Hey, I just disappear.
Switch off.
Hey, switch off. Hey, I switch off. I switch off. I switch off. I switch off.
Did you retract, or did you retract any of those relationships where you walked away and you went back after you realized who you are to explain what was going on?
To me, honestly, it happened. It happened, and I went back to some relations, and it became way better than before that. But the combination is there is this maturity and growth from both sides.
Okay. So there were situations where you tried to but it did not work.
اي حسيت انه خلاص تعرف يعني اي يعني it's a very similar to the idea of okay, two kids are playing together,
Yeah.
hitting each other مش عارف كيف كذي, but then later on those kids will grow up, become adults, grow ups يعني. One of them will still remember these bad moments, one of them will be laughing on okay والله احنا we used to play. That this shows a different maturity and what resonated from the previous experience. So post me knowing my values, some of those relationships got stronger because I think it was growth on both sides.
Okay.
And it set the stage for a better relationship.
Right.
With the right level of expectations. Some of them is just not, it's not, to me, I felt in some relationships, I felt okay, I'm just paying way too much than what it might be.
Who you are.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'm going to jump right into. I'll just be aware of time. To be honest, I don't want this to close. But no, you know what? Before I jump into that, let me just ask you this. So I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there are two very critical pillars for you, or three maybe. Your partnership at work.
Yes.
With Khalid.
Yes.
Your relationship with your staff. And your relationship at home with family. Were there moments where you felt tired, exhausted, where your pattern of wanting to just move away or switch off,
Yeah.
as you use the term, but then you had to bring your new perspective into the picture and deal with things in a different way? Did you go through those moments?
If not, then there's something wrong, honestly speaking. If I'm not facing these kind of moments with my wife,
Yeah.
with my business partner,
Yeah.
and with my colleagues at work, then there is something wrong. That means that we are not growing, we are not يعني. When it comes on a personal level with my personal life, yes, we had number of downtime moments,
Right.
critical moments, yeah. And I think this is the nature of life.
Absolutely.
This is the nature of life, يعني. You see what I mean? يعني, I get tired, my wife get tired, both of us get tired. You see what I mean? But then, okay, how can we balance things out throughout the course of our life? And what is our main mission as a couple? Yeah?
I love that.
Yes, this is the fundamental principle that once we reach that moment, okay, let's
Right.
go back to what's our mission? Yeah?
Why are we here?
Why we are here?
Okay, I like that. I like what's our common mission. I love it.
It's very important. It's very important. Is it the same? Has it changed? Are we having different perspectives now toward things? That's very important to be aware, and this should be an ongoing dialogue, just to maintain a rich, peaceful family household for the sake of our kids and for the sake of ourselves as people. On the partnership level, yes, we had number of things. We had it on our when I joined Khalid as a business partner.
Yeah.
My wife Muna asked me question on that because okay, Khalid as an individual, he's a star.
Yeah.
He's well known in the community, giving his track record with Stars of Science, what
Yeah.
he managed to accomplish, achieve, and go through a certain process that made him an iconic figure
Yeah.
in the domain of innovation in Qatar. He's vocal. I'm the opposite. I'm
Right.
the quiet guy.
رواق.
رواق. يعني me not being in the first row doesn't mean anything to me.
Okay.
You see what I mean? I have a different character.
Yeah, you're comfortable.
I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Yes. This is my nature.
Yeah.
So when I was thinking about joining Khalid as a business partner, I was in one of my lowest moments when it comes emotionally, career, mentally.
Right.
The way my wife looked at me joining Khalid, and okay, are you trying to jump on his back and to jump on the wave and يعني
Ride with him the way.
get part of that glory? ولا is it him trying to maximize his glory by having people working for him?
Okay. Oh, well, your wife asked you that?
Yeah.
That's a very interesting conversation.
And على طول I took the question from my wife and I had a conversation with Khalid right away.
Wow.
Cup of coffee. Khalid, tell me. My wife asked me this question. What do you think? Is it me trying to ride on your back and get part of that glory for myself? Well, is it you trying to build your legacy on my shoulder? So that was a very transparent, mature question that we brought on the table as people, as individuals, business partners, just to set the right expectations. Well, alhamdulillah, that was in 2014. We grew all the way till 2021, and we had another critical moment as well, where okay, now I'm growing through the process. Khalid is away. Okay, and I've been questioning myself. Okay, am I gaining much? Am I growing much? Is this what I'm looking for? Khalid going through also critical time, building 2 different companies, full time there, part time here, on a strategy level. Some conflict when it comes to decision making, priorities, and all of that. But that's due because I know we didn't have enough conversation.
Okay.
So this was another critical moment. And let's go back to the main principle. Why we were doing this? So we have this mature, safe partnership conversation between me and him. And we just sort things out through the process. But guess what? This is the nature of the process. This is the nature of things growing, things changing. That okay, you are facing and experiencing something new. You just need to be able to know how to navigate through it and how to set it right.
It's part of the process.
Yeah. When it comes to the colleagues, the same thing as well. Same thing between me expanding my capability from managing 1, 2 till managing 22. Different value systems. Different cultures. Different personal life missions. All of that with the context of the business and the priority of the business and the priority of the company and the market dynamics as well. So navigating all of that is just also bad, is a hustle by itself. Have I mastered it? No. Did I face challenges? Yes. I've been facing challenge at each phase of the company, at each stage.
Right.
At the stage of me being alone in the company, no one working for a
Tell me about that.
It was me alone in the office.
I'm going through that.
Okay. What should I do next? Sabr, okay, how should I write an invoice?
Oh, there you go.
How should it goes all the way to these basic principles of okay, now how should I do this? How should I manage the meeting? What should I do post the meeting? That there's this fundamental questions and it's staged questions. Each stage has different kind of questions and it requires different kind of skills. You see, the challenge becomes in sometimes your colleagues within the company, they don't see that. You see what I mean? They just don't see it. They just don't see it. And I think it's your role to tell them that, but at the same time, sometimes you might not have the answers. And this is also tricky as well.
Absolutely.
So, I think it's always good to take them to the main principles. Okay, these are different stages. Each stage has different questions, different priorities, different skill sets, different requirements, all of that in the context of the market dynamics.
Right.
So you need to take them through that step by step, and sometimes it might be them going with you through the journey for them to realize
What's happening?
because guess what, nobody has built company before. You get my point.
Yep, absolutely.
يعني people might مثلا at a certain point, no, let's focus on building process. Okay, let's build the process. But if I don't have contracts for the next 2 years, then what
am I building the process for?
Exactly. You see.
Yeah.
But sometimes, people, because, they want to do something. And instead of, what is the most important things for us to do?
Yeah.
So how can you even coach your colleagues and your staff to ask the right question?
Yep.
And instead of assuming, what should we do?
Yeah. Wow. That's nice. That's a nice one. That's a nice one. So, almost a year ago, given that we're talking about your colleagues at work, I got a call from you. And I speak about this call as proudly as I can.
Habibi.
Because it's very rare that the CEO of a company, the leader, the man that sits on the biggest desk, as we call him, right, in the company. I got a call from you, and you're like, Joe, I need your help. And I want to know, how hard was it for you to make that phone call?
Well, it was very, very hard, ya Joe. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. Why is that? In the journey of building Ibtikar specifically, I had the chance to sit with a number of mentors, coaches, and as a major highlight and takeaway, not all of them gave me a valuable right advice.
Right.
So it was very critical for me to open up for anyone for an advice.
Right.
أنا from a business mentors early in the days, there were a number of business mentors within a well-known organization. They were pushing me to shut down the company.
Oh wow.
They just didn't see it. They were not able to see it. I don't blame them. But this is due to their previous experience, and this will not work out.
Right.
This will not work out. You are wasting your time. But then when it worked out and the company grew from 2-3 till 20, I was like, no, now I need to challenge الادفايس and to challenge فذات build a certain perspective على how should I navigate seeking help.
Right.
Last year we went through a transitional mood as a company from the same small group used to manage a company since the inception 2015-16 all the way till 2021, 2022, where I think the next phase of the company would require different skill sets.
Right.
When it comes to strategic business development, strategic sales, and حتى even strategic operational.
Right.
How should we look at operation from different angle? I know that this will take place sometime. We take a decision as a board, and I think it's time for us to grow as a company and to start recruiting talented people in the market, different calibers, different verticals, marketing, communication, business dev, sales, just to see how that will have an impact on the company.
Right.
So I went about recruitment process. And through the recruitment process, I figured out, now those people are coming to the company with different value sets, with different working culture. It created kind of an internal politics and friction.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I noticed the existing team is just having this kind of resistance for the sake of we want to stay as we are.
As we are. Resistance to change.
A way which I don't think this is really helping us as a company to grow. It was challenging for me. I started approaching a number of people, honestly. I'm facing this operational challenge, culture, I'm having this partnership dynamics. I just want to really see how can put things together to solve things. and I wanted a different perspective, a fresh perspective.
Right.
You see what I mean? I felt in okay, us having this internal perspective is good, but I think it's worthwhile now we have an external perspective and a view to things.
Yeah.
Just to be able to have a balanced view. How can we take this? Because the mission, we want to grow big.
Yeah.
This is the mission. So what will help us to achieve that mission?
Right.
So I start approaching a couple of people, honestly, and with their initial interaction and how they've been looking at to solve things, I felt in it was coming in with their perspective on how things should be solved.
Yeah.
Without asking questions.
Yeah. It's their briefcase or
exactly. I didn't feel comfortable.
Right.
I don't think you're just asking the right questions. I'm open for help.
Yeah.
But are you
willing to help?
Are you seeking understanding? Well, are you concluding into conclusion and judgment?
Yeah.
These are two different things, and
Absolutely.
it has two different approaches.
Yeah.
These are two different approaches. So during that moment, I remember that I had a call with you. قبلها
Almost a year before that.
almost a year before that, where you told me خلاص أنا I'm done with my full-time job. I'm doing this.
I'm on my own.
I'm on my own. I'm doing this and that. Back then, this wasn't something we are keen to have at Iptikar.
Yeah.
When you started that.
Yeah.
But when I started facing these internal challenges, I don't know what happened, and I picked up the phone, reached out to you. I saw an Instagram story, something. I just wanted to have just an open chat.
Yeah.
What I loved, يا أخي, okay, Nayef, let me help you, يا أخي. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Come and tell me about it. فأنا I loved and you are willing to sit and listen.
Yeah.
You see, I felt that gave me a safe space.
Yep. That's the key. It's all about safety, isn't it?
I had the first sit down. سبحان الله حتى أنا يعني with after our first meeting with حتى the call I said قلت يا أخي والله this guy is a good salesman. Lebanese بياع هذا.
It's in our blood.
إيه والله بس يعني it was very genuine, very organic, very very personal يعني فاهم شلون؟ and قلت okay, let me go have this cup of coffee. Let me test, is this for real ولا شو اسمه? But it turned out it's a very genuine and it really touched on important questions that was supposed to be asked. And it gave me okay صبر نايف صح انت ناوي الحين entering this phase انت personally need to grow.
Yeah. Where are you from this?
اي انا نايف okay where am I from that? Okay الحين between صبر between yes احنا في struggle and we have the existing team. It has to be coached to grow and to accept to get an external feedback on how things should be done differently.
Yeah.
But at the same time صبر okay how can you work with bringing new people with a new culture with a new blood into the company and accept their help to help you build and continue building the company.
Yeah.
فحتى introducing these kind of dynamics to me it was new and fresh.
Yeah.
You see, and I felt it's very needed just to navigate. But it started with me knowing myself deeper than what I used to know myself.
Absolutely.
Which was a plus.
I remember that day when you were like, okay, you know what, Joe, let's park the company to the side شوي. Let's start BNU.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the next step, and I should tell you this, like you were one of the most reflective people I have worked with, Nayef. يعني, and I remember like the first 2 sessions when we sat down, you would just go away in your mind while we're talking, and I'd be like, "Are you okay?" You're like, "Yeah, I'm just reflecting. Keep going." And then you'd start to share a story about something that happened. And then you were very peculiar and sure that every time you've got some work to do when you get back home, you would do it.
Yes.
And I still remember like when you were done with your personal journey and we moved on to working with the team at Iptikar, you still had some work to do over there.
Sorry.
So when we decided to do the trust assessment within the team, and you made it so clear to everyone that this is not for me. This is for me to know if there's something wrong and if something can be done better. It wasn't me trying to pinpoint where's the problem, and how we took that. And then when we decided to do the session with the whole team, you had some work to do over the weekend. It was Eid, I remember.
Yes.
And you told me I'm going to celebrate the first Eid with family, and then the rest of the 2 days I'm going to be sitting on my own doing the work I need to do. And on the second day of Eid, before the day of the event, when you sent me that screenshot, I'll never forget it, the 2 big billboards, the 2 big boards, whiteboards that you had. They were packed with stuff, and then you're like, Joe, I can't believe this was all in my head. And I was like, there it is, right? And what made it even more beautiful for me is that the day that we went to the team event, now if you just started off telling them, I sent Joe a message telling him I need help. And not many people are ready to be that vulnerable in front of their team to tell them even your CEO needs help. So what I wanted to ask you here is, how easy was it for you? Because يعني, if I may define this right, it's an ego-breaking moment when we stand in front of people that look up to us. That we are the ones putting in all the plans, the strategies, the processes, approving and signing of the papers. To stand up and tell them, hey, listen, me too. I needed help at some point. How did you come up with that introduction for the day?
I think there is a huge part of that goes to you, Joe, honestly. Through the coaching sessions, a reflection on me personally, a reflection on the team, a reflection on the social intelligence and the role of that and the work dynamics, team dynamics, realizing all of that.
Yeah.
Why would people act in a certain way? Why would people push certain things? Just realizing all of that, and then taking this to the current new position of Ibtikar is becoming the lead and showing how we do practical innovation that brings a huge value to the market and the communities and the companies. Putting these things together, fundamentally it's about having a strong, safe, human bondings between people, because innovation is about people, is about knowledge, is about accumulation of the knowledge. So it's about building that.
Yeah.
And I think people perform very well once they feel they are safe, once they feel even their failures are looking at as a reflection moments for improvements, not for punishments.
Right.
You see what I mean?
It's beautiful. Yeah.
When people feel, okay, you know what? Yes, we do put systems, process in place, but at the same time, it's about performing well and bringing results as well.
Yeah.
So having this kind of actual dynamic operations would require a proper demonstration.
Yeah.
Showing that. When I shared and said that, I really meant it.
I know.
Because to me at that moment it wasn't ego.
Yeah.
It was the mission who was enforcing me. Because in my vision, this is what's required to build the right team to deliver the mission that we're promising to deliver. So if I fundamentally and deeply understand that, then this is the expectation. Right. But me showing off and I know it all, I mastered it all, is just sending the wrong signal and push people to have their own work politics that will eventually not enable us to deliver our mission.
Okay. I love that. Okay, thank you. And it did come out so naturally. I was standing at the back and I'm like, wow, he's actually saying that. And I honestly appreciate it because the whole room dynamics changed. And I think even the dynamics at the organization changed after that day.
Yes.
And like I love the fact that even when the day finished, you and your team keep sending me updates on how are things going. This is what we aimed for. This is how far we are from the goal. And I think this is what it's about, Naif. It's about maintaining those relationships and maintaining those people within. Because your team loves what you're doing, and even like what you guys went through during COVID and how you stuck with them.
Yes.
And the return of it that they stuck with you, where all of you, starting with yourself and everyone else at the organization, decided to share the pain of what COVID brought about. And I think those are moments that maybe an external consultant wouldn't be able to see unless he has spoken to the people. Right? And I think you did this brilliantly, sharing that pain with the people. I think it's a very it's a turning point maybe for you at the organization.
Sahih.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're heading into the closure, and one of the questions that I personally like to close with, Nayef, is, given that the theme is about your life and your shot, I usually ask people to reflect on that one shot in their life that they believe created a major drastic change for them. Could be a shot offered to you by someone, could be a shot offered to you by life. What is that one shot for Nayef? If I ask you now to share it with us, what would it be?
So on principle, Joe, I believe in the accumulation of reasons,
Right?
for a certain milestones to be
Achieved.
So this is my general perspective toward life. So I always believe in there are these stations that you go through until you reach the major milestone.
Yeah.
But to this specific question, I think maybe the major shot that I think made the huge difference is when I went to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in 2016, attending MIT regional competition.
Yeah.
MENA MIT regional competition for startups. Back then, I was a business partner at Iptikar part-time, so I had my full-time job,
Okay.
and I was doing Iptikar on post working hours from 4:30 till 8. And so when I joined Khalid asked me question, do you want to take this as a full-time or as a part-time? قلت له whoa.
Calm down.
استريح.
استريح.
استريح يعني I never thought about it يعني ايش full-time يعني. It was the classical way of looking at it.
Who's gonna pay my salary?
بالضبط. So he gave me some advice into looking into my financial maturity. So I've started calculating, me and my wife, how much we are spending just to build our financial maturity and see, okay, how much is the bare minimum
That we need.
financial income that we need to maintain a decent life. So we've been doing that for maybe since 2015 all the way till mid of 2016. In 2016, I had this opportunity to join MIT competition on behalf of Iptikar.
Okay.
Khalid wasn't there, nobody was there, but just me. So I went to Saudi Arabia. And it was 5 days boot camp between preparation for presentation, pitching, meeting investors, all the way till the competition.
Right.
So as Iptikar, we managed to reach the finals as one of the 10 startups on the MENA region level to be pitched in front of the final judging jury.
Okay.
People from Google, Abdul Latif Jameel, 500 startups, number of the well-known VCs and investors in the MENA region. So I still remember that pitch, the final pitch, where I went in and I pitched a product that we used to have at Iptikar, and the outcome of the pitch was, okay, everybody clapped in the room. This was an amazing product that you guys managed to build the concept around. And then one of the guys, Rakan Al-Eidi, Bumshari, I still remember, Saudi,
Okay.
told me, Nayef, okay, this is excellent. We're done with the technical evaluation for your product. Tell us about yourself. Are you full-time entrepreneur ولا
Part time.
part-time؟ قلت له لا أنا part time. قال okay. So you have full-time job. قلت له yes I have a full-time job. قال لي زين. قال لي what is your production strategy for the product? So basically our product was something similar to Lego.
Okay.
But basically it's Arabic letters. So it has a magnet feature that clips.
Sticks together.
And it's easy. You can construct an Arabic word using that product.
Okay.
It has an innovative idea. So he told me, okay, what is your production strategy? How you're going to produce this? قلت له I'll figure it out later on. Okay, what is your sales strategy? Okay, how much fund you need? Okay, how big is the team that you need to develop that? So he kept asking all of these
Questions.
fundamental questions on how the business should be run. And then he told me this comment. قال لي so أنت you flew all the way من دوحة to Saudi Arabia and you are standing in front of me. You wanna يعني grab your hand and pull money from my pocket and to your pocket without you risking anything. So you want me to risk to get you money from my pocket to your pocket. You want me to risk my money where I can't see you risking anything يا أخي.
Wow.
والله العظيم that was the comment in the face. Punch. ليش؟ لأن now I'm not in my normal environment. I'm in a competitive environment.
Yeah.
And guess what? These are the rules of the game.
That's your rules of engagement.
Exactly. If you want to do something, this is how you should do it. So I left هذا. Alhamdulillah, we were ranked the third company, but they did not qualify us to win the prize because we don't represent the proper business case.
Okay.
Technically strong, but we don't have a business plan.
Okay.
So another company got the third place. But when I left the room, he came and he gave me his business card. قال لي, you know what, and I think you guys might have a potential. This is my business card. Let's keep in touch.
The same guy that told you you're not risking anything.
I came back to Qatar on Saturday. I had a lunch with my father. My wife was with us. My father asked me, okay, how was your trip? قلت له, well, it was beautiful. This is what happened. قال لي, okay, so what's the next step? قلت له, you know what, I think I need to quit my job. For me to be able to build Ibtikar, I need to quit my job. قال لي, okay, so how can you do it? That question just opened my eyes. You know what? Let me tap into our savings. I went back home that day. I calculated all the savings that my wife had, my kids had, I had. And the fact that we did the financial maturity study for a year and a half, so I understood
an average of what do you need.
How much I need. So the savings that I had was able to pay my minimum salary for a year.
Okay, that's...
Sunday I went and I resigned from
Right away.
Right away. So this specific just gave me that confidence and shot. Let's take one step forward.
To where you are.
And since then, alhamdulillah, يعني, Sunday I resigned. The 30 days later, I was
in your office at Ibtikar.
In my office at Ibtikar at Cubic back then. And then I started mingling. Less than a year, I was able to make Ibtikar financially pay my minimum salary, which represents the company growth as well.
Wow. I think now that I know a lot more than what I already knew, there's a lot that I will want to learn from you,
Habibi,
on how I can take myself and my company forward. Wow, that was a pretty nice. So did you have a talk with Rakan? Was his name again?
Yes. He came to Qatar a year later. He came to Qatar a year later, and I saw him, and I went to him, and I told him. A few months ago, he did a tweet. He tweeted on Twitter, and I replied to his tweet, and I still remember that judging session where it just changed my perspective toward how should I perceive the entrepreneurial path. I need to be all in or
out.
Or out.
Beautiful. Wow. Thank you for sharing this with us, Nayef.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Joey.
So this brings us to the closure of our really interesting episode. Thank you very much, Nayef, for this today. This was extremely enjoyable, like all our chats.
Habibi.
And thank you for allowing me to tap into a lot of areas of your life. And I'm looking forward to having more. However, I know that you are tight on time. I know that you need to leave as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, finally, before we close, allow me to thank Nayef again for being here. Thank Qutaifan Islands North again for this amazing opportunity to be here. Running this from here is so comfortable, I believe,
Jameel.
for me and for everyone.
Jameel.
And also Urban Landscapes again for this amazing cabin studio that they have designed for us. And don't forget to follow, share, and subscribe, and also comment and ask any questions that you have for me or for my guest. Today we'll be more than happy to answer you. Thank you very much again, everyone. Don't forget, your life, your shot. Take the shots that come through to you. Have an amazing day.